All right, this is interview one. I have Miss Laura Antonelli. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to answer some of my questions for you.
No problem.
Okay, so to start this off, as you know, I am doing a project on neo imperialism before we did this interview. And to start off, do you know anything about imperialism to begin with?
No.
You don't. Okay. Well, basically, imperialism is another country basically having some sort of say or rule over another country and then changing their type of way of living and then taking their raw materials or any type of profit that they may have in that other country and bring it back to their home country.
Gotcha.
Okay. But now, how it is today, they don't do that anymore. Not technically, which is why now it's something called neo-imperialism, which is basically a new imperialism way of a country ruling other countries in a different way. So, as you know, as you had told me before, is that you have been to a tourist industry type of vacation when you went to a resort in Jamaica, correct?
Correct.
Okay, my first question I want to ask you is while you were there, were you ever encouraged to go outside of the resort to go to where I guess the locals would be?
Um, Only if it was going to be profitable for
The resort.
the resort. Correct.
Okay. All right. And then what about like going to see any other like landscapes on Jamaica outside of the resort? What about that? Would they encourage you to go see those types of things or no, only when it was like excursions or something like that?
Primarily for excursions outside the resort, where there is a business relationship where they would be making a profit.
Okay. And then also my next question is the employees that work there at the resort, can you tell me what the name of the resort you were staying at?
The Ryu Resort.
Okay, and do you know whether or not the employees there were paid a decent minimum wage or paid pretty good or not so much?
They were paid very little, and most of their money came from tips from the tourists.
Okay, so the employees that work there, what would they do for you guys for hospitality and that type of stuff at the resort?
Um, they capitalized on the customer service aspect, so the customer service was beyond excellent, and therefore that's why we would give them really good tips.
So that's basically what they mostly rely on is the tip money, moreover than the resort paying them.
Correct.
Okay. And then while you were about to leave, I guess I would say, is when you were leaving, did you ever get a good feel for how the locals actually live?
Yes, and it would be quite drastic compared to what you see in the resort.
Right. Okay. And then also, while you were leaving there, do you feel like while you were at the resort, besides where you were staying at, just the resort itself, do you feel like the way they portrayed the locals or the what's the word I'm looking for? I can just edit this part out. What's the word I'm looking for? The natives of that country, do you feel like they put on a front for that, or do you feel like they really actually tried to make it their culture that they showed there at the resort?
Um, it was somewhat mixed.
With both.
I think maybe they may have brought the culture to the resort, probably watered it down some, but yeah, I think they did a fairly decent job of that.
Okay. And for my last question, would you say that throughout the entire time you were there at the resort and then in your personal plan, would you say that it is neo imperialized in any sort of way for where it benefits more of some type of American company for the tourist industry or any other country besides Jamaica itself benefits from this more than the Jamaica's people itself?
Resort I stayed at, it was a company owned uh, from Spain, and I would have to say that I'm sure Spain profits from this much more than people of Jamaica that work there.
All right. Thank you, Miss Laura Anthony, for your time, and I appreciate it.